But did I expect to be saying this within the third day of Phase 2? Absolutely not. When we're looking at BDS, them coming into this EUL, quote-unquote super team, the curse that we've bestowed upon them, and they are now fighting for a chance for survival.
Yeah, I think looking at them this major, it's exposed some of the biggest problems with that lineup. Actually, you know, in EU, I don't think they were really tested. And one of the biggest thing with this roster change, I think it made sense on paper, but everybody was thinking, well, they are going to switch from French communication to English communication. The biggest problem I see right now with them is their lack of cohesion in really tense moments, in execution, in last round. There were some examples here where they completely miscommunicated and forgot about a certain player, or just weren't able to be completely synchronized. And I think maybe it has to go with the communication problem. They need to fix this right now if they want to perform at this event, because this is where they're going to play against much better quality.
I think this is the type of issues we was expecting to see inside of a UL, but didn't, because they absolutely ran through a UL. They've got a big uphill task now, but the one redeeming factor is they've got 5 of the best players in the world that can pull them out of this.
Yeah, and they're also going to be going up against CAG, particularly. This is a team that has found success here on LAN as well. Historically, not necessarily the fact when we're looking at CAG Osaka, but this time around, they have shown us what they're capable of. And I think when we're looking at CAG so far, they've lost against Scars and Beast Coast, but they won against E1. So there's a little bit of a mix in terms of the regions that they have played against.
Yeah, they actually have 3 wins at this event, if you count Phase 1. But if you actually look in the teams that they've beat, it's E1, GK, Cruelty. You know, not the biggest teams that you would expect at this major as well. And every time they play against a structured team, a team that has more, maybe less holes to exploit, that play grouped up, that is more strategically and methodical, it's harder. Beast Coast, Scars, it wasn't even close, 7-3, 7-4. That's my issue right now. And this is why I think the win condition for BDS here is to play grouped up, keep it simple, keep the cohesion going with very simple strategies, don't leave any holes to exploit, and that should be enough.
CAG are actually, I don't want to say, I'm going to say that one. CAG tried to build a Japanese super team as well. If you look at how they did their roster changes, you know, they picked up Shironeko, they picked up Chibisu, they picked up Sharif as well. All best players from different rosters across Japan to try and elevate this CAG team, because they were hitting their ceiling at events constantly. They're still, maybe, they haven't proved to us that they've broken through that yet. And I think that's a big opportunity to do that today, to stay in the tournament against one of EU's best teams.
And I think the biggest thing with this triple roster change, basically, one thing that was very clear with CAG before is that they had their very unique identity and playstyle. It was all over the place, it was chaotic. And by removing 3 players and bringing these 3, I actually believe that they have the heritage and the core with Black Ray especially and Aniton, but at the same time they were able to develop more of the strategic aspect of the game. They are able to play more methodical. Not enough, I believe, but at least this basically broke their ceiling of their chaotic playstyle that was super inconsistent.
Because they've got Leak Effect coming over. BDS are running this clock down like champs right now, and you've got Shoko potentially coming in from above too.
Well, there's the play, there's the Shoko motion, and this is going to be the most important part. White Stairs, the power position, it is, and he wins out the first. Aniton.
King is gone.
Drifting about, they pull back. Cyreneko's behind him. Cyreneko needs to act because the timer is 40 seconds and they're still finding fights on the top floor. 4 versus 4, 40 seconds. And they haven't got the hatches at all, but they have got themselves tucked into freezer. However, the space being cleared, 30 seconds, the pressure onto the bottom of the laundry stairs. Everybody is here. Everybody is invited. And with 20 seconds left, your eyes can't be anywhere else. Solotov gets the swing onto Black Ray, a cacophony of explosions, and a swing round is traded back out. They're down a 2 versus 3 technical with not a huge amount of time left. Cyreneko doesn't have the confidence of the swing. 8 seconds. They're trying to get the pocket. Users gets 1, and BDS, they get themselves one more chance to survive, but only just.
Pushed to breaking point by Cyclops. Truly tested down to the last few gunfights in round 15 of map 3. And they just about get it over the line. You might look back at Shoko there and say clearing out. That Ying was the difference maker in that last round. We've seen his head hanging low throughout this map, but that is just about enough to give them, as you say, one more chance tomorrow to make main stage. View ready with Solotov. Let's jump over to him now.
Thank you, guys. I'm joined here with Solotov. Congratulations on that win. I want to start off with, how are you feeling after this game? Because coming in today, did you expect it to be a 3-mapper with 2 of them going to overtime?
No, we were definitely thinking a quick 2-0 We prepped the game really well, but to be honest, they prepped it really well as well. So it was a 2 overtime match point game. I don't know, we struggled against the APAC teams. It was like this before. Me and you just joined as well. Like, I don't know, BDS always struggle against an APAC team, and it's still the same. We need to get better against the APAC teams. I just feel really relaxed right now because the game was a bit too stressful.
Now, everyone, like the tension, you could literally cut it with a knife. Everyone just glued to the TV watching the game unfold because it was down to one round to decide whether or not you stay in the major. When you're sitting in that position as a player, as a team, what's going through your head?
To be honest, when you're in that position, nothing goes through your head. You just focus on winning the round. If it's in your head, you can't win the round anyway. So you have to be focused on the last round, get the win, then win the game. How
do you get to do that as a player? How do you just sit there and push that to the back of your mind?
I think it's just the experience, to be honest. I think at the start, of course, it's hard, but when you play in this environment a lot and get used to it, you just manage to deal with that.
Well, one more game that you need to win to be able to qualify for that main stage. Moving forward, what are you going to be changing up? What's the plan? What's the game plan?
What's the plan? We're going to prep like we did before. Nothing going to change. We will be relaxed. No pressure, nothing. Just focus on the playoff. That's it. Yeah, we need to chill a bit after this game. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the interview. I appreciate it. Get some rest. Congratulations. We're going to be heading over to the Telestrator with Fresh and Leo. So, guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ginny. And indeed, here we just want to highlight just how good CAG plays this game.
Yes.
Both strategically, but also in terms of collective, right?
Yeah, we want to be, they got close, and we want to give them the props for that. So we're actually going to start on round 2. And it's in the prep phase. Not normal that we'd start a Telestrator in the prep phase. This is Brede on the drone. He's put his drone outside the master balcony, and it's been hit by a mute jammer. Now, the expectation for BDS is because there's a mute jammer here and one in the closet, that they think, hey, it's going to be a master extension with the rotate, as we see that here, Leo.
Yeah, actually, you see that the rotate happens, and at the same time, Warden is reinforcing the wall. But he's not reinforcing the one next to it. And this is key, because it's something that you don't see very often in ranked, and that you could reuse. It's having a flex reinforcement. The drone is still on the doorway, so they know and they feel like it's going to be a master extension. But the Warden comes in, gets rid of the drone, and then he goes back and reinforces the wall. So BDS is under the impression that it's still a master extension. In fact, it's not. It's reinforced off. It's turtled. The site is stronger.
And he's reinforced it after the end of prep phase. And what that means is BDS are locked in their operators. They've brought operators thinking it's a master extension, and they now get impact tricked by Sharif over on the Azami. What that means is that the breach that you can see here, it's not walkable, it's not vaultable, they cannot go through it, it's only a line of sight, and that's going to come back to bite them late when they can't push through it, which was their initial plan.
And this is a bigger problem now. You only have 3 entry points onto the bomb side. You have one here on the big window, you have one up white stairs, and one on trophy. And if you actually take a look at how they're set up, you have a perfect crossfire from every Cyclops player on every single entry point. They can just now play a 2v1 on every entry point. It's exactly what will happen here, Jack.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. Now, as the player walks in white, he gets traded, but it's the player that comes in big window down the bottom of your screen here. There's a nice pinch onto him by the CAG players, and ultimately, like I say, this was CAG with their strategy, with their late reinforcement, forcing BDS to do something different that wasn't their plan A, forcing them to think on their feet, and then punishing them when they did. It did then, I'll be honest, it did then come down to a 1 versus 2 clutch from Blackray, but it never should have got there. That was just BDS's individual skill getting us to this point. So, for us, I think even though CAG are out of this tournament, we wanted to praise them because they were always known as a team that got a little bit crazy, but their strategical depth has gone up like 10 notches in this tournament, and I think we will see them at future tournaments. However, that being said, after this short break, we will have a quick interview with BDS.
Welcome back to the Manchester Major. I'm Jeannie, joined with Leo, and we have Leifa. Thank you so much for joining us after that grueling best of 3 series. Coming into today, did you think that you're going to have an easy map 1 and then you're going to have to fight down to the final round to be able to stay in the competition?
To be honest, after the map 1, we were like, okay, our plan is working, we have to change nothing. They pick Sky, one of our best map. We were like, okay, pick Sky, we start defense, it's free, guys, we just play our game, the adapt we did, and doing 3-3 in defense because we throw so many rounds, and also playing fully against us. It was kinda hard. We came back in attack, and after lose the 8-7, so we just reset mental for the third map, and again 8-7. Too much emotion, but I feel great after this.
First of all, félicitations. Huh? Congratulations.
French?
I had to
Like,
say it in
hello?
French. Yeah, I think overall, I just want to come back a little bit, deeper about the team now that you have Jesus and Solotov. I feel like as an IGL now, you have more tools to have guys that are more vocal and that can open space. Is that something that's really useful, and how do you use it in the game?
To be honest, we practice a lot, and right now, we know our plan. So I just said, okay, guys, we do this at the early round, and mid-round, late round, when I'm not dead, it's most like Jesus and Bride leading the late rounds, because I'm a lot of time on lurk, so I can't see what we do. But to be honest, it feels fine. We work for now 4 months, so feel great.
As well, during the interview earlier with Solotov, mentioning the fact that when it comes to APAC teams particularly, that is something that BDS struggles with in the past and continues to be a thorn in your side. What do you think is it about the APAC teams that makes it so much more difficult?
I think it's the crazy part. They can do like a crazy thing we never seen in Europe. So I think this is mostly this. And also the meta with the shield and full execute. It's really annoying. So I think it's these two reasons.
Do you think it's especially this playstyle, like the chaos that they're always looking for? They always look for these holes, like a window to jump in or that backstab. Do you think this is also pushing you guys now with the communication changes from French to English? Do you think that's an issue? Because then you need to react really quickly in a short amount of time?
Yeah, I think this is the main issue as well for on our side. Because basically everyone waiting us here as a first major together. Because we beat everyone in Europe and in Malta. So in this kind of match, even like yesterday against Talon, we should win as BDS team. So we have a lot of pressure on us, and we do mistake, bad com like on the close round on 8-7 or on 6-6, this kind of rounds. So yeah, the communication, we need to fix that. Today was better because we are like, okay, we lost to Talon, so basically we don't have to prove anyone. Everyone can beat us now. We are not like the BDS will win the major. So less pressure. The com was better today.
How do you fix those communications in a short period of time? Because your next game, you're now in that lower bracket. If you lose it, you're out. If you win, you qualify for that main stage. So there is still a lot of pressure, maybe not from the fans, but potentially from yourselves?
It's really less, like, because during AUL, no pressure, we play our game. The com was perfect. And here, I think today was really better because even if there is pressure, it's not like we can't lose. Now we know that we already lose. We know like how does that feel. So we can't have pressure. It's like, okay, we have pressure, we're going to lose, we go back home. No one wants to back home. So we put ourselves in good condition before the match, and that's it.
It's actually something funny because it's actually something we talked also on the desk is how many people were hyping you up, the expectations versus the reality. And I think overall, like, I don't think you're disappointing. I really think it's basically you're your own enemy right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like you've got everything it takes to actually be the team that you want to be. But right now, maybe it's more a mental problem of the pressure and how you handle it that's costing you. Do you have anyone in the staff, is Two Flex or Katu or anyone else helping you with the mental side of things?
Both. Yeah. Even Eagle, even all the BDS staff are behind us in this case because, like you said, our first enemy it's us. Like really, we make too much pressure on us. It's not like the fan doing this. It's just ourselves. And yeah, we work a lot. And the debrief yesterday was basically this. Guys, we need to play our game without pressure. We have nothing to prove.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview. Merci beaucoup pour l'entretien. Bonne chance à vous pour le match prochain aussi. Thank you guys so much as well for tuning in. We're going to be heading to a little break and we'll be back with the post-match for this game, so make sure you stick around. Welcome back. I hope the 30-second break was long enough for you guys to get hydrated. We're here and we're going to be breaking down CAG up against BDS, with BDS advancing further into this lower bracket. CAG, unfortunately, they are going to be going home, and I really want to commend them here because not only did they prove themselves and were able to get this far, they have also pushed BDS to their absolute limits.
I love their improvements. I don't think many people expected them to be that good, especially against a team like BDS, because that's actually something that Leifa said. Yes, we're our own enemy, but I think overall, like, CAG played this very, very well. A bit like PSG Talon with their own game plan. And it's the depth of strategy and their ability to play together at all times, that to use utility. He said it also, they abused Ying, they abused Keptao. Even when Monty was banned, they found a strategic solution. And that's one thing that I was missing from CAG before, that problem solving by using utility or strategy or operators. That's something that's new, and I'd like to see from CAG right now.
Feels like they've pushed through a ceiling, and yeah, this tournament's not gone right for them. There has been a lot of learnings, but of course you're going to get that with having, what, 3 new players basically in on the CAG side. So I think they've had a tournament that they can be proud of. But obviously BDS are our victors. You know, they did get over the line. And I think at this point in the tournament, the result is maybe more important than the performance. They won't be happy with that performance, especially the Skyscraper, to be honest. But the result is all that matters, and they are into tomorrow's bracket, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and as well, when we're looking at BDS particularly, that we've had individual players that have had phenomenal, absolutely blowing out of the park games, and particularly users when we're looking at him. That 16-1 Kitty, I think that's something that we're going to be coming back to. But in general, even the last game particularly, where BDS was able to close it out, again, a great performance from him individually. And if anything, Shaiko and Leifa on there as well.
It's something funny, actually, that the top 3 rated players here in this match are all from BDS. It goes to show that actually, when BDS won the round, I think it was way smoother and way more flawless than whenever CAG were winning the round.
Yeah.
And it's also why, in terms of scoreboard, most of the time you were looking at the stats, BDS had much better stats, even if they were losing the map. I think it's because they were overall dominating, even if it's an 8-7, 8-7. In the end, I think they were the better team. It's just that CAG really pushed them to their limits.
Yeah, and that's what you can say, especially with this graphic as well. It's just like, this is kind of the problem of facing BDS as a team that's supposedly inferior, is BDS cannot be at the best. You can give your absolute best to try and beat BDS, and they've still got top players. They've still got literal top players in the world. All 3 of those players, I think if you did a world top 10 list, are in that top 10.
And if you have one round to show that, is, you know, the round where Usus is stuck in a crossfire in the 2v1 on Fenrir, you play it perfectly. CAG played it perfectly.
Now, yeah.
They actually have a double pinch. They should never lose that. Yuzu somehow manages to get the first kill and the second kill. And fun fact, Leifa actually told us just before joining that Yuzu actually thought he lost it.
Really?
Yeah, so he flicked both, killed them both, and then he thought, oh, I've lost the round. And then actually he won it. But this just goes to show, like, you can play perfectly and collectively the right way against BDS. Their talent is just so good that somehow they can still win the round.
Yeah, they can win that one round. That one final round on that last map on OT in the best of 3 to stay in this. And that's something to really point out here, because CAG have done phenomenal. And as you said it yourself, Fresh, they can be and should be proud of themselves. BDS do advance further towards that bracket, and that is them now having to win one more to be able to qualify for the main stage. We do still have another game coming up, and that is going to be PSG Talent up against FaZe Clan. One spot that they're fighting for to go through to that next stage. Make sure you stick around, because we're going to be back shortly.